All right. Hey, everyone. Welcome. Welcome to Invested Agents Presents Real Estate Hacking Live. Woo!
Yes, Real Hacking Live.
All right. So if you don't know who we are, my name is Chris Bounds, and
I'm Jamie Bounds.
we
have a little Brady Bunch thing going on.
Yeah, so this whole live thing has been a lot of fun. We did this a few weeks ago. We had an Invested Agent Summit, and we were live for 8 hours. And we really realized what we needed to do with this specific event, which is not a new event. It's the first one of the year. We've actually been doing this for a while.
Yeah, it's been 4 years. So we started this event, formerly known as Fort Bend REI, and we started this 4 years ago at Rudy's Barbecue, back when you could get together and network without getting the plague. In other words,
I miss the barbecue.
I know, I do miss the barbecue. But so we started it, just as a way to network with other realtors, investors, private lenders, just all in one room. And so we decided, we actually started like 30 people, I think, 4 years ago. And then it grew and grew. We had it the first Tuesday of every month in person. And then, of course, COVID hit. So anytime something like that happens, you just have to pivot, figure it out. And we started doing it in the evenings. We finished out the year
on Zoom.
Yeah, on Zoom. And then we learned about StreamYard and fell in love with StreamYard. And we decided to kind of reinvent the format a little bit of rehacking. And Chris is going to kind of take you through that as we test this out today.
Yeah, so the prior format was we'd bring up a guest. Every once in a while, we'd have a panel, and they'd have the floor for 30, 45 minutes talking about their unique topic, unique superhuman skill set and knowledge bank. But we're going to do something different. So when we took that event locally, it worked out great. I miss it, but got to change. So when we took it to that same format online, we felt we could do better. And that's what this is. This is going out, delivering more value, more high value, high impactful content that you can take in your business and use it. And what we're going to do is we're going to have multiple guests answering a single relevant question relevant to this industry today. These are professionals that are in the trenches today, doing business, growing their business, talking, buying and selling, investing today. They're going to be answering a single question, 10 minutes each. So it's going to be very rapid fire, fast paced. You should be able to walk away with a lot of notes, and really excited.
Yeah. 1 hour, jam packed, 10 minutes each. So if you haven't taken your lunch break now, take an early lunch break and get ready.
So we got 5 guests today, and they're rock stars. I know them, and they've got just really, really tremendous businesses. So we're probably not going to have time for a Q&A, but that doesn't mean that they may not be coming in the comments, either before they come on board or come on stage or afterwards. So if you've got questions, whatever it is on their topic, or maybe just something different or something unique in their market, maybe they said something that really resonated with you, give them praise, give them a shout out, ask a question, tag them. They definitely want to hear from you. Yeah. And we'll be getting in the comments after this is done. Won't be able to do it live, but we'll definitely, at least I know Jamie and I will be getting in the comments when we're done. So do that. This is exciting. And if you're looking, maybe you like the show, you're a rock star, performer in your market, you want to get on the show, reach out to us. You can go to rehacking.com. That's rehacking.com. And
show. Now it's called a show. Woohoo!
Show.
So entertaining, right?
Real Estate Hacking Live. Hey, everyone's got a talk show now. Yep. Thank you, Internet. Thank you, COVID.
Yeah.
So, and we're this specific intro on future events, we're going to get right into it, but I wanted to give a little bit of a ease into it. So, and of course, feedback. Got any feedback or a review? You get contents. Appreciate your reviews.
Yeah, come in.
And anything.
See all the
we've got a couple extra minutes here. We're going to bring our guest just maybe a couple extra minutes early. I think that'll be fun. So, Jamie, over the years, and I didn't tell her I was going to say this. She hates this. So over the years, what have been some of the biggest takeaways that you've got from, and I'll preface. So I've always come to events like this, whether it was local or on Zoom. I'm like, hey, look, if they can teach me something that would either save me money from not making a mistake or make me money by some unique marketing tactic or whatever, like that's a win. All I needed is that one nugget. And I've actually used that strategy to take, otherwise you might walk away and say, hey, that was a waste of time, which that's not going to be today. But I like to draw that extreme example out as there are nuggets, and even if they're not relevant to your specific, what you're doing in real estate today, there are nuggets that you can take because these are real business owners. They're out there just doing a tremendous amount of business in the market. So I don't know, what have been some of the biggest takeaways I think you've gotten over the years that we've had with the local events?
Well, honestly, I mean, remember we started this just almost for selfish reasons because, you know, we had 2 little babies at home and I wanted to go to some of these events too. I mean, we've been running this business together and I'm like, hey, I want to have some of the fun. So this was literally down the street from us where we first hosted it. And, you know, we were in the middle of flipping all of these houses. We flipped over 100 and whatever we got, 80 houses now. So, I mean, not huge, but we know some stuff, but also I always picked up like nuggets, like you said, from newer investors or just seeing kind of their outlook on things and their questions, you know, whether it be like, hey, have you ever considered owner's financing? I learned all about owner's financing. I mean, marketing tactics, strategies. I mean, there's so many things we picked up that we were able to use in our business. And I mean, just networking. I love people. I love talking to people. So that has been a great part of it. And now we get this whole panel of awesome speakers today who are going to share their knowledge on real estate. So it's been great.
Yep. Speaking of that, are we ready to bring up our first guest?
We are ready. Okay, so first we have Kat Robinson, and Kat is a broker, associate, and team leader of Tailored Real Estate Group. Hi, Kat.
Hi.
With Compass Houston, she is highly active in the real estate community as a tree pack. Do you say tree or tray pack?
Tree pack.
Yes. Tree pack major investor. Houston Association of Realtors Young Professionals Network chair in 2019. Texas Realtors YPN, National Association of Realtors YPN Region 10, and so much more. So she's like a boss babe. I mean, awesome. Different.
Welcome, Kat. Welcome, Kat.
Welcome.
Thank you so much. It's an honor to be here. I appreciate you guys.
Absolutely. Thanks for being here. We'll get right to it. Just short time, and you definitely have an alphabet soup of accolades and commitment to the industry. So I know people get so much value just from that alone, and I'm certain that has been a benefit to your business. So, question of the hour: what does your marketing plan look like in 2021? Hey, Kat, I think we lost your audio a little bit. We didn't lose it. It's a little muffled.
Okay. Thank you for.
Yeah. That's good.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this year is all about engagement, engagement in different facets. So it's not just focusing on social media or open houses, but we are integrating networking with realtors on all different levels. So I run a team. We have 5 licensed agents and a full-time assistant for us. And we're all involved in different organizations. So whether that be with realtors or with nonprofits, making sure that we are contributing to our community, because that's who we are, right? We're all realtors.
Mm-hmm.
And it's been an incredible referral source just like that. So being engaged with those people include phone calls, text messages, a handwritten card. I know, right? It's rocket science. But the key is consistency, and I think as you are resilient and keep treading through, you get results. It's my coach says you don't get results from the first 8 reps. It's the 9th and the 10th rep where it really burns. That's when you're going to get the results. So that's what we're working through. We introduced a really cool new idea called a pop buy. And I got this idea through, I just completed my luxury designation. And they were saying that engagement and giving small little tokens, small gifts are really thoughtful. So each of my girls have the ability to give 100 small gifts out once a month. We do it on the 19th of every month, and it's silly little things. So like this month, January, since we introduced it, we gave everyone a bag of popcorn and said, hey, we are introducing pop buys. We want to get to know you. And it was just super simple. A few people I should say who receives these little tokens. It's our farm. So we farm where we live. So we want to make sure that we're not a secret agent and that our neighbors know that they have a realtor right down the street. So we're farming our streets that we're living on, and then also building a referral source or channel accounts through other businesses. So insurance agents, financial planners, dentists, doctors, all of that. So those people get a little token. This month, we are not celebrating Valentine's Day. Everybody loves Valentine's Day. It's all over the place. So let's talk about something different. It's National Muffin Day. So we're going to get
Muffin Day.
yeah.
All right.
And then we're also incorporating little gifts for your house too. So March is usually when we do our time change, right? Yeah-ish. I don't know. The month of the time change, we give out batteries. So people will change out their batteries for their smoke detectors. So it's just kind of an interchange of goodies for them.
I like it. So it's a little different. I mean, the industry has evolved over time. And it's not everything works and everything doesn't work. And of course, certain things may be a little bit better. I mean, if you want to go out and door knock, that absolutely can work. It's going to take a little bit of time. Popeyes, I love it because it's unique, it's engaging, and it's also value first.
Yeah.
So tell me about it. When you're doing these pop buys, giving out just little tokens, how are you finding because we're all busy, no one really likes to be interrupted, but people do appreciate value and sincerity. So how are you approaching these to engage with them, not as a take, but as a give in a way that's relevant to them, that they remember you and you're building brand?
Yeah. So, well, number one, the consistency is going to allow for brand recognition. Giving them something that they may or may not enjoy is kind of a roll of the dice, right? But just letting them know that they have a professional available that's close by is key. And that's the idea of the complete stranger that lives 12 houses down, that you see them every morning at the same stop sign, but it's kind of awkward. So it changes the dynamic of that relationship. And two, people will see you walking around the neighborhood putting them out. In fact, we'll do flags for Memorial Day and 4th of July, and people beg for those. They like we do, like they're like the size of a paper, 8 by 11, and we stab them in the ground right at their sidewalk. So their streets are lined with the patriotic sign of America, and it's a huge give. They love it, and usually, they intersect you somehow, and you're able to talk, and everybody's like, oh, okay, you're the realtor. How's the market? Everybody loves that question, and we talk about the market every day. Hey, guess what? December sales in 2020 were up 40%. Average price points are up 10%. Like, those are huge numbers that people love to know. And then you follow it up with a quick question, hey, if you want to run some numbers and see what it looked like for you and your family, we can definitely do that. No big deal.
Yeah. So are there any trends that you're seeing in the communication with those? Presumably, if you're doing that within neighborhoods, you're targeting sellers, which are probably buyers all for you as well. But are you noticing any trends in questions or concerns engaging in a transaction during COVID?
Well, I feel like in Houston, most people are the deep-seated fear is kind of subsiding. So, you notice more and more people are out, traffic's heavier. So I don't see COVID, it being fearful. I know that COVID has changed the way we live. We've reevaluated how we use space and what we need at home. So we're cooking more, we're playing more at home, we're hosting more parties at home, like small gatherings. And so that reevaluation has made a huge surge of sales, especially in the suburbs, because people are working from home and they're not commuting. So that is a huge game changer, and it's changed the dynamic of the amount of sales that we can produce right now. The reason why we're focusing on sellers is because there's not enough inventory at all. I think Houston was sitting on like 1.9 months of inventory. So that means if nothing else came on the market, we would sell out in less than 60 days. Like, that's insane. So we need sellers to step it up and let us list their house and let us get them into a new place with these low interest rates. And so we're actually getting really, really creative with sellers who have to sell in order to purchase. So obviously, we're using leasebacks as a way to do it. We are preparing sellers to maybe move into temporary housing for 3 to 4 months if they have to build, or living with family. We're just trying to make sure that sellers have all the options there so that they can make the best choice for their families. Tapping into equity. That free money passes over into a bigger, better house with lower interest rates. It's a win.
Yeah. Well, one last question. How are you? You mentioned pop buys. You mentioned how you're engaging locally in the communities. And how else are you doing? Or what are you doing to break through in a competitive market? Because low inventory also means more agents, competing for the same listing. So, what are you doing to help stand out as the professional to go to?
Well, I think number one is being prepared for those appointments if you're able to get into the door. It's really interesting. I met with a seller just recently, and it was a unique property, and she met with 6 agents. I was the only one that had comparables. Like, no one else took the time out to really dive in deep to find comparables.
My God.
Yeah.
That's one-on-one, right?
Yeah. So be prepared. Another thing is have a marketing plan. I have an outline of 21 things that my team does for my sellers. And a few of those are unique. Floor plans, 5% of American realtors put floor plans on their listings.
Yeah.
And that really helps buyers pull triggers much more quickly. 3D tours are another big thing that people are either love or hate. But I think in a virtual world that we live in, providing as much data and information to buyers up front will get a true buyer in the door to pull the trigger much more quickly.
Absolutely. And John and Sally moving from Los Angeles to Houston, who aren't flying this weekend, it'd be nice if they can get in the door without having to be here. That's serious. Well, Kat, man, this has been a huge pleasure. It's been great getting to know you and also hang out at YPN. So look forward to hanging out with you more again in the future. If anyone wants to connect with you, how should they do that?
You can go to my website, tailoredrealestategroup.com, or you can email me at kat.robinson@compass.com.
All right. Thanks, Kat.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks.
All right. I'm going to do a quick focus. I put my camera on autofocus, so it's all blurry. All right.
No. So what'd you learn from that one? Popeyes.
I love Popeyes.
Popeyes.
I mean,
And,
it's engagement. It's engagement. So, and that's the thing. It's sincerity. Whenever you're just, hey, I just wanted to see, or and the consumer gets that 10, 15 times a day with cold calling. Like going in with a value first helps. So, all right.
There we go. Creative.
Our next guest.
Okay. So our next guest is Evan Compean. Evan, bring him up. Evan,
how you guys?
Good. Thanks for joining,
guys.
Evan, oh, sorry. Are you talking? Okay.
Yeah.
Let me introduce you. Evan is the founder and team leader of the Compean Group with Champion Real Estate Group in Houston. He is a 5-star rated agent with an extremely impressive sales volume of 30 million in 2020. And I mean, that's amazing. And even more amazing that you only have one other licensed assistant. So you're doing all of that, and wow, that's awesome. So I can't wait to hear what value Evan brings today, and welcome.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Evan. Hey, Chris, same here. Hey, can you hear me well? Just want to make sure that I'm coming through clearly.
Yeah, you're coming through. The video is a little choppy, but the audio is clear, and most people that's the most important thing. So, all right, Evan, you're crushing it in the market. 30 million in sales, one licensed assistant. I don't know many other people that can be as that effective and perform that well in this market. So, what does your marketing plan look like in 2021?
So we are trying to ramp up with just a better website, more social media, adding a couple team members to the team as well, just to generally handle the volume. So for several years, really, I went through a phase to where I was losing more business than the majority of agents would have in their entire year. So I had to keep getting better with just refining the systems. And really at this point, it's just efficiencies and systems and trying to stay just on top of the files, on top of clients that are reaching out to us. That's what definitely helps us out to just stay on top of things, because there's a lot of inefficiencies that agents go through that they don't generally realize, that ends up eating up a lot of their time and losing out on opportunities. Because as an agent, the best thing that you want to do is obviously you want to be communicating with the consumer. You don't want to be wasting time doing other things that are necessary, but not necessarily the highest value for your time. So I would say, so for a lot of people looking to get into this market right now, there's a ton of agents. You have to try to find an in. I think everybody has a different in, has something different that's going to work for them. For me, back in 2012, when I got licensed, my in was just trying to start and have some type of social presence. I started creating profiles on different websites and combined that with going after every single lead that goes out that came my way. The issue that I see a lot of agents have right now that I speak to is that they're always waiting for that one big opportunity, that one big lead. They're waiting for that $1 million buyer, $1 million listing, and they're missing out on smaller opportunities that would make sense at that moment, because you have the bandwidth when you're new. All you have is time. So you have to focus it on going after leads, regardless of the size. It doesn't matter if it's a lease or it's a small buyer looking to buy a $100,000 property. My first commission check was on a property that I purchased, that I helped the client purchase for $24,000. So it was nothing, but I went after it and I worked hard on it and just escalated it from there. So I think going after every single lead that you can go after, regardless of the size, and not focusing on that big whale that you're looking to capture, and combine that with just spending time on what's going to work for you, what's your in, whether that's doing videos, whether that's creating an amazing website, or if it's working with investors. or door knocking your neighborhood, whatever that in is that you think you have, you need to spend time on it and double, triple down on it, and just constantly spend time on it. Realize that those seeds you're planting are not going to give you a return in weeks. It's going to take months, and it could take quarters to get there. So just stay constant and very aware of that.
Yeah, business is won with base hits. A lot of people, like you said, they're looking for the triple or the home run, but the base hits throughout life, extrapolated over time, that's what absolutely wins. Like, you can actually bunt a ball, get on first base, and then all of a sudden there's a home run pitch right behind you. Now you win. Like, you just never know, because tenants become either other tenants or referrals, but they also become buyers eventually. And then buyers become sellers, who in turn need to buy again. And then, of course, all of those people know people, and you lead with value, business grows, right? So how are you connecting, or what do you, so you're building a team. What are you emphasizing with your team as a way to connect
different
that's relevant, like today, that's relevant? How are they connecting?
I would say the best thing is being objective and giving them information that they need, but don't necessarily know that they want. You can connect many other different ways, but that's what's really worked for me. And what that really, in summary, what that really means is being honest and telling a client no, or that house isn't going to be good because of this reason, or your price is too high. I think you should sell at this price or list at this price. Being objective and informative is our value, I would say, besides our marketing. But I find that to be our value, and what brings our clients back to us time and time again is that they know that we're going to be honest, we're going to be we're going to be straightforward with them, and we're going to tell them what they need to hear, not what they want to hear. And that's what really gets our clients to come back to us. I mean, we combine that with just really amazing marketing. Like Kat was saying, we do floor plans, we do 3D tours. We're working on doing more things, custom websites for our listings. But it's really the service. When they speak to you, you're going to combine what you showed that client in an email or a listing presentation with yourself, with your voice, with your persona, whatever it is, but you have to convince them as well. So having those both hand in hand really goes a long way to just showing our clients that we're the best choice to work with them. Obviously, you can get into just the micro level of this and look at just the details of neighborhoods and how experienced you are in certain areas. But really getting into those details and just being objective and honest is what's really helped us to connect. And on top of that, you really have to stay on top of clients and leads and friendships. That's one big thing that I see a lot of people drop the ball on, that they don't stay on top of leads that come their way. Somebody reaches out to them, leaves them a message, sends them a message online, or however it is, and you're quick to follow up with that. But then the second and third, fourth, fifth follow-up, that's where people start dropping the ball. Because you're always going after that hot lead, and if you have to follow up with them, it's just not as interesting anymore. And you have to keep continuing to do that, and that's where I see a lot of agents drop the ball. They're not going after the leads in a consistent form.
Yeah, so it seems like you're valuing relationship and experience over transactions, and again, coupled with time, over time, that builds business, and it builds repeat business. And
it does.
Everyone in real estate will tell you, like, repeat business, that's where that's success.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you got to get out there and hustle and lead gen all day, and you could do that, but it's exhausting.
Yeah.
So do it right in the beginning. Set up your systems as you grow, and it seems like you've just exploded to the point to where now you're able to come back and like do some recapture and help your team and help your overall efficiencies.
Yeah, no, exactly.
So one last thing, what behavioral trends are you seeing in buyers in this market?
So buyers are getting more accustomed to the limited inventory. So depending on where they're looking at or what price bracket they're in, it's becoming a little bit more difficult for some buyers, and they're conscious of that. I think an important thing right now when you're working with buyers is make sure that you're working on a strategy with them that's not going to get them frustrated or become defeated. Because if you're looking at homes under 250, for instance, you're going to be beat out by other offers. It's going to happen. Yeah, it's going to be constant. And what you have to do is work up a strategy. Don't get their hopes up. If they're an FHA, VA buyer, don't tell them that they have a shot, a big shot at getting this. Be real with them and let them know we're going to be competing, and it might be difficult because you don't want to let them down. When you let them down, it's a blow to them, and they may decide to just keep renting, and you've wasted your time. Same thing at higher price points. I'm noticing some listings where they're going up in price now. I saw a new construction one that was listed at $1 million. Now they took it off, put it back up, and it's $50,000 more. So speaking to your clients about what's going on and how they should wait or they shouldn't wait is going to be important, just to kind of make sure that they stay on the same path that you think they should stay on, which should ultimately help them avoid headaches or just frustrations down the road.
Love it. Time flies, Evan.
It does. It really does, man. We needed more time, but this is good.
Yeah, no, I've been watching your business and how it's been growing. We've had some conversations over the last year or so, and it's been exciting. Thanks, super impressed. You definitely set a high benchmark and show what other folks can do, that they don't need 10, 15 agents on their team to do these big numbers. If they're very smart and effective with their time and resources, they can really knock it out of the park.
Exactly. You can do a lot if you treat it like a business. I always think of things as just how an assembly line. How can you get things done the quickest way? Henry Ford, that assembly line process is what changed the business. So think of that for your own business and how you work. How can you make your business more efficient?
Love it. Love it. All right. Thanks again, Evan. Talk to you again soon.
Thank you. Very informative. That's awesome. So objective and informative. That's it. The big takeaway.
Correct. And then focus on relationships, focus on base hits. Especially starting now. You totally win on base hits. Mm-hmm. All right. Who's our next guest?
Awesome. Okay. Our next guest is Chris Lesak. Chris is,
all right. There he is.
Chris is a broker, associate, and founder of the Lesak Group with Keller Williams in Houston. He got started in real estate managing multi-family units with his uncle over 20 years ago. In 2003, he got his real estate license and just hasn't looked back since. So he also helps run his family's survey company, ProServe. That's really cool. So without further ado, let's introduce Chris. Thank you for joining us.
Hey, thanks for having me. Can y'all hear me okay?
Yeah, you're good. You're good. All right.
Awesome.
Straight into it. What's your marketing plan look like in 2021?
So our plan looks a little bit like 2020. And when COVID started hitting, I felt it was kind of important to go back to the basics. And it's kind of a similar theme that others have said, is talking about relationships, going deep with people. One of the things that we did was we made sure that we were human. And that seems kind of strange to have to say that, but we stopped trying to sell people and we stopped trying to tell people about real estate. And what we tried to focus on was just being there from people. Like, people were scared, they were freaking out, they didn't know what was going on. There was so much uncertainty in the marketplace. There was uncertainty with jobs and health and all these other things. And so I took the first step and was like, I just reached out to people and was like, hey, I'm here if you need anything. I didn't mention anything about real estate. I didn't even put my real estate info on anything that I sent out. So whether it's a text message, an email, phone call, whatever it was, Facebook messages, it was just like, hey, I'm here if you need anything. And I think that really helped because people are like, oh wow, there's someone's genuine and they're not just trying to sell me something. And as you know, COVID started kind of going through the market, we noticed that if you just were out and engaged people, you know, you could be out on a walk or riding a bike, which everyone kind of did early on, and you would just start to meet people, right? And so we get through 2020 and we're going into 2021. We're a month in now, and our focus is still the same: is engage with people, check on people, make sure people are okay. We're going deep in our database, and it's not just people that live around us that we need to focus on, right? I know so many agents across the country, and what's everyone doing in California, New York, New Jersey, Michigan, and other places? They're moving to Texas, they're moving to Houston, and they're a referral source. And I think a lot of people are missing that relational aspect of, hey, you got a friend in California that you need to check on. You know, we have an aunt that lives out in California, and like, hey, just listed a $30 million house, and the people are going to move. And Texas may be one of the places, right? So it's good to know people like that. And I don't know if they buy a $30 million house if they move to Texas, but hey, you never know, right?
Well, I mean, that's a $600,000 house here, right?
Yeah, probably. And so it's just one of those things where, you know, first off, right out of the gates, and we're still continuing to do is focus on just being there for people and providing value and being of service, even if they don't need to buy or sell something, right?
Yeah.
Because a lot of people don't need that right now, but they need to know you're there, and they know you're in real estate. So that's our main thing, is focusing on that, and kind of like others have said, is you got to focus on marketing your listings right. And you know, it's you know, the basics, but if you focus on marketing your listings correct, pricing them right, marketing them right, people that are looking to sell their house are going to notice that, and they may call you to list their house. And so, you know, in our geographic farm and in other areas, you know, we always do that, but we kind of forget about it in other areas. It's like, hey, answer the phone, talk to people. They have a house to sell. I had a listing we sold in a day, got 35 showings. We stopped taking offers at the 9th offer. We had tons of stuff. We sold it over asking price, you know, all that stuff. And it was just a home run deal. And I had people calling me about it, which, you know, I was like, I hadn't had sign call in a while, right? And so we get people calling about it. And the longer I talked to them, they were just looking to buy a house. They had a house to sell. They're like, hey, I appreciate your time. When we're ready to sell, we're going to call you. And then, hey, we're going to stay in touch with them and follow up, whether we have a listing or not. And so just doing the fundamentals, like I said, taking the base hits and doing those things that have always worked, they really work in markets like this.
And even without COVID, it works. It's increasingly working because of the digital environment that we're all in. The human connection, I think, becomes even more and more important. Like, Zoom's great, Facebook Live is great, StreamYard's good, YouTube, all that good. Actually, within 6 feet, I guess. And maybe with or without a mask, depending on pandemic levels, actually shaking hands and talking with people and, hey, what do you need? Like, what can I help you out with?
Yeah. And so one of the things that I've done is I kind of went old school, you know, for someone that's older like me. You know, I turned 40 last year, so I'm like, all right, I'm getting up there. I'm getting, you know, my hair's falling out before it can turn gray, you know, so I feel a little older than some. But one of the things that we used to do years ago is, you know, we would just go to a friend's house and we'd sit out in the front yard on the tailgate, and, you know, you have a beverage of your choice and you would just chat. And so I started doing that with people, and we're out in the cul-de-sac or out in the driveway, sitting on the tailgate. We're, you know, 6, 8, 10 feet apart, talking and hanging out. Well, one of my friends I've been doing that with, we just wrote an offer on a $530,000 house yesterday. So, like, I think we've made stuff too hard, and yeah, Zoom is great, and we needed it for a while. I do like StreamYard better than Zoom, but we do need tools from time to time. But you know what? We found people are getting zoomed out. You know, there's only so much that people want to sit in front of the screen and listen to someone, you know, go on and on. Like this format's great. You and I talked about it. Is, you know, you don't have to listen to Chris talk for, you know, an hour or two and drone on and on. You're getting other people. You're getting different viewpoints. So this is a great format, and I think it'll really work with people. But yeah, I mean, talk to people. If you don't want to be within, you know, 10 feet of them, go sit outside in the driveway or a patio and market the heck out of your listings and, you know, collect all those leads. You're going to get leads. We're getting a lot of leads. People are wanting stuff so bad, they're going straight to the source, and you're going to get leads out of it. I'm getting more leads now than we've gotten over the past couple of years.
Yeah, it's amazing. So one last question.
Yeah.
In these leads that you're getting, is there any behavioral trend that you're seeing that's a little different this year versus in prior? Because you've been in the industry a while. You've seen a lot of change possibly in needs, wants, desires. Is there anything that you maybe would stand out as unique, but also kind of understandable of what buyers or sellers are looking for now?
I think the thing that buyers are looking for, one, I think buyers are the most realistic they've ever been, and I think the previous guest kind of touched on that. Is as an agent, you need to help keep them stay focused. But I think they're very realistic. They're like, hey, there's no inventory. If we see something we like, we have to act. There's no more that, oh, we're going to wait a couple days and submit an offer. No, we're going to submit the offer in the house possibly, you know, or go do it right after, which technology helps, you know, DocuSign and stuff like that. But we're seeing buyers have the sense of urgency that they've always needed to have. And they're, you know, so that's a really good thing. There's no more, hey, let's think about it. They're either, this house works for me, let's make an offer, or let's go to the next one. And I really like that. As far as sellers, as much as we've been able to push the price, sellers are actually being realistic about their prices. And I think that's why stuff's moving even faster and faster, is because sellers are going like, hey, I know things are moving fast. There's not a lot of inventory, but they're like, I think this is where we need to be on price. And I'm not having to fight with sellers on price at all. And I'm really liking that. So we have realistic buyers, realistic sellers. And I think that's why the market keeps moving at the speed that it's moving. So I like that. That's a good place to be in the market.
Yeah, sellers, if they've got a nice home, move-in ready, and that's priced right, like that's when you see 3 days on market.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Hey, Chris, it's been nice to connecting with you, mainly digitally. I know you got to experience the live and in-person version of this a couple of years back. So we'll get back there and enjoy some barbecue sometime.
Yeah, it'll be nice to have some barbecue again. Y'all take care, and y'all have a great day.
You too. Thanks, Chris.
Thank you.
All right, thanks.
All right. So takeaways from Chris.
It's a recurring theme of engagement and being real, being sincere, and leading with value.
Right.
So I don't know. I love that. And as long as you're doing that, you're able to set yourself up for success.
Yeah, and I've seen that too. What he said, sellers and buyers are being more realistic these days. I mean, even with, you know, some of our sellers that we've had. I mean, when we had to come back to them for, hey, this is what you should list your house at, there's really no pushback because everything's moving really, really quickly. So like everybody has been saying, now is the time to buy, sell. It's the market for sure.
All right.
So
our next guest.
Yes, our next guest, we have another Chris. It's Chris cubed today. We have 3 Chris's. So Chris Logan, our friend from
Hey, what's happening, guys?
Hey, good to see you.
Sunny Florida.
Good to see you guys.
Yes, from Chris is from Tampa, Florida. He is the visionary and co-founder of Rise Real Estate Group. It's an investment company in Florida. His team operates virtually in 3 other markets. And through networking and phone sales, his team closes 7 to 10 deals per month. So that's awesome. So glad to have you with us to share all of your secrets and value.
Thanks. I'm excited to be here. I mean, you guys have put together an awesome event, and I've been seeing what you guys have been doing here over the last year or so, and it's really been cool. Like I like the events that you guys have been put on. Saw some webinars, so I'm looking forward to just being a part of it and just giving value however I can.
Thanks, and we've definitely been watching you. Haven't been able to hang out because of viral activity. But so we'll get right into it. And if you can, there's a little bit of feedback. If you can turn down just the audio just a little bit, that way it doesn't feedback into your mic. It's subtle. But getting right into it, you've had explosive growth in your business over the past few years. You've seemed to have kind of taken maybe like an engineer's approach to it. But if not that, definitely a laser approach to fine tuning the business to allow you to scale what you did. And so what's your marketing plan look like in 2021?
Yeah. So I appreciate that. Yeah. The marketing plan for 2021, we're a really big outbound company, right? So we do a lot of outbound marketing. And what I mean by that is we're cold calling. We cold call, we do, RVMs, we do texting, anything that allows us to reach a massive quantities of people quickly. That's what we do. There's been changes with each of those marketing channels over the course of the years. And so because a lot of them have been kind of up and down over this past year with COVID, how one channel goes up, the other one goes down, one channel goes up, the other one goes down. It's just the cycle of marketing. We've added on a lot of other channels now too. So we're doing some PPC, we're doing some online marketing as well. But really cold calling has been like our number one channel that we do. We've grown that into a team. And I want to say we have like 9 or 10 people right now on our team. It's a virtual call center. We don't have these reps in house. Our entire company operates virtually. And that's kind of like our bread and butter.
Yeah. And I know this is a growing trend. Cold calling. I want to say we experimented with a little bit. It wasn't really unique to me. But I know there's success in it because I know people like you that just crush it with cold calling. And ultimately, from a speed standpoint, it's fast. I mean, it's calling or texting. Like, there's really no other way to get in front of someone instantly. I mean, I guess you got PPC and all that, but PPC is there's still layers. Calling, like, you get someone on the phone now, whether they like it or not, you get them on the phone now, and at least you can start bringing them down the funnel. So how do you approach that strategy to make it the other person, like, no matter who's calling you, unless they're actually in your contacts book, you're not really looking forward to the call. Like, that's true.
Yeah.
So when they're answering the call, that. What are you doing to make it relevant? That 10-second window that you have for them to decide what they're going to do, stay on the call or hang up. What are you doing that's relevant for them in that moment to connect?
I think the number one thing that we do is we make it clear. We state who we are, why we're calling, and very specifically referencing the property if they consider an offer on their property. And so within that, just like you said, that 10-second window of connecting, they know who we are, why we're calling, and what the objective is for the call. We're there to give them a cash offer for their property. And at the end of the day, some people are going to be like, no, I'm not interested. Great. That's fine. Do you have any other properties you consider selling? And then we move on in that direction. If they say, no, I don't. Okay, thanks so much. Have a great day. But the biggest thing that I teach with our cold callers is that they need to have respect for the people on the phone. It doesn't matter how rude people are when you call, because if anybody that's listening to this has ever cold called before, you get a mixed bag of responses when you reach out to someone, right? So at the end of the day, like, it's about, treating people with respect regardless of how they treat you. It doesn't matter, right? And so that's the biggest thing I think that sets our team different from everybody else is, sometimes people will be rude and then other teams maybe hang up on the person and move on to the next call, but we don't look at them as just the next call. We look at them as our cold callers are on the front lines, providing an experience with our company, right? So people identify that experience with Rise Real Estate Group, right? And we want it always to be positive, no matter how challenging some people are to work with, we wanted always to be a positive experience. So we train our guys to be very respectful. And my team lead, who oversees that team, he really enforces that for sure.
What behavioral trends are you seeing in those connections from pre-COVID to now, at least a year into it? Is there anything that you're seeing different in how folks are responding?
Yeah, so cold calling has just kind of changed altogether over the last several years. I mean, it went from when we first started cold calling in the real estate business. I've done it for every single sales job I've ever been a part of. But when we first started cold calling and implemented into our real estate business over the last 2.5 years ago or 3 years ago, it was funny when we were first calling them. The response initially would be, no one ever calls me. All I get is these letters in the mail, but you're the first person that's actually picked up the phone and give me a call. So that was amazing while it lasted, right? And there's still some people that do that. It's just those types of responses aren't as frequent now. So now you have a lot of people, like everybody and their brother, doing it. So it's really about how efficient is your process, how good is your team, and how you stand apart, right? And I think that's across the board right now for every single marketing channel, right? We're in one of the most competitive markets that we've seen in a very, very long time. And how you stand apart in this market is how tight your operations are and how tight your team is and the quality of the people on your team and just how efficient you are with every single dollar that you put out to bring at least $3 back or more.
Yeah. So in the couple minutes we have left, can you elaborate on that? How are you breaking through in that competitive market? Because like you, just in pretty much any market in the United States, 5 years ago, you get a few cold calls a day. And I'm talking me personally. Now it's throughout all of our marketing numbers combined with my personal cell phone. I mean, it's probably like 30 or 40. How are you breaking through in that competitive environment?
Yeah. So, I mean, at the end of the day, so there's two sides to that coin, right? So breaking through in the competitive environment on cold calling, we're always hiring people, bringing them onto our team, cycling out the lowest performing reps on our team with a better rep. We make hundreds of thousands of calls a week. And at the end of the day, with that, it's really just about us being consistent. I think that's how you can break through with any marketing channel. If you're more consistent than the next guy, then you'll have success, right? But on the flip side, as far as how we're breaking through and being competitive in this market, we're balancing out our marketing channels now with a lot of self-generated opportunities. So we're doing self-generated opportunities as well as paid marketing. In this market, I feel like you have to have a balance. And it's kind of funny, like every other company out there, like roofers, pool guys, like all the contractors, their business model is very interesting because probably 30% of their business actually comes from paid marketing and the other 70% comes from referrals. But in our type of business, we don't see that happening as much just because of the nature of the business. And so we find that you have to balance out those marketing channels, those paid channels, with also some self-generated opportunities, which you can only build through networking. That's networking with other wholesalers, networking with other flippers, networking with other attorneys, realtors, all that to balance out that the balance between paid and non-paid marketing. So I think now, again, that's just a part of being more efficient with our marketing dollars in an uberly competitive market where everybody's trying to do the same thing.
Yeah. So last question, what are you doing or and you can answer it this way too, what should other agents or investors, because I think you're the only guest on today that's predominantly on the investment side, should you do to improve the experience of the end customer, the end client?
Yeah. I feel like what you can do to improve is just be the best version of yourself and your company, right? Because, and care about every single interaction as if it was your last, right? Because word travels. And at the end of the day, if you care about that interaction and that experience with someone and that experience you're providing, making sure that it's the best every single time, then again, that's just a part of building your brand and how you're going to set yourself apart. There's a lot of people in the industry. I mean, talking even about the agent side, there's a lot of agents that don't care. They just want the sale. That's all they want, or they have commission breath. They instead of focusing on the seller's needs and what the seller wants, they're focusing on how can I close this sale to make that commission? But that's the biggest mistake you can make, right? you got to focus on the process and understanding like what's important to that homeowner, why they're selling, drilling deep onto that, and really how you can serve them in the best possible way. And that's really how we stand apart with our buyers. We focus on how we can serve them in the best possible way. So that's really what I'd recommend. And that's the biggest builder of your brand that you could have.
I love it. I love it. Man, you've been growing like crazy. I know you're going to continue to grow. Look forward to having you on and actually having a beer again. In person. We need to go to Florida.
If this keeps going, we're going to have to do it over Zoom, and I'll just like.
I know.
Yeah, clink. All right. Hey, thanks so much, Chris.
Thank you, Chris. Good seeing you.
Thanks, yeah, good seeing you too, Jamie. And thanks, guys, for the opportunity. Appreciate it.
Absolutely.
All right, takeaways.
Yeah, again, connecting, but he's doing it in different ways. He's having to do it on the phone, which nobody likes being cold called. Like, it's just absolute truth. There's no one who says, man, I hope someone calls me today and that I didn't know or don't know and don't want them to call me. But being able to do that and lead his team in a professional, ethical, like value first, connect and provide value.
I mean, we can have a whole segment just on cold calling alone because Chris Logan does it just so seamlessly. It's like a buddy calling you. He's got it down. Like
he's a machine. He's a machine.
Right.
So yeah, this next guy, he's a machine too. Huge influencer. You want to introduce him?
Yes, we have Morad Fiki. Hi, Morad.
How's it going?
Morad, sorry, Morad.
How y'all doing?
That twang. Morad is a former U.S. Naval officer and current luxury real estate agent and founder of Fiki Properties. He is a powerhouse agent with social media and one of the top realtors on social media. So can't wait to hear the value you are going to bring to this segment.
Oh, thank you so much. Thanks for having me. This is super cool.
Yeah. Hey, I'm glad to have you on because I've been following you. I think we've only met one or two other times. It was Eddie Gant. It was at a lunch on a couple years back.
Oh, at Willie G's.
Yes. That was good. But I've been following you, and I've been increasingly interested in social. Hence this event, and I've seen what you do, and you've done such a tremendous job. At least from a third party, just watching on the sidelines, branding yourself. So I'm gonna hit you up with a question. What does your marketing plan look like in 2021?
Well, it's definitely social media. I mean, social media condenses time. Needless to say, you might meet somebody and you have to spend so much time with them, years to get to know their family and everything else about them. Whereas on social media, you meet someone on Facebook within weeks. I've seen your kids, your family, your travels. I know what you like. I mean, it just condenses time. So, especially right now with the pandemic, it's just a great way to stay connected and continue to build my brand, my name, and get known. If they don't know you, they won't flow you. That's what right? So.
Love it. Yeah. As far as the business world is concerned, if you're not on the internet, you're irrelevant. I mean, you're not really irrelevant. Everyone's relevant, but as far as the business and commerce, you're basically irrelevant.
Absolutely.
How are there any channels on social that I know you're big on Instagram, but just anything, whether it's YouTube, Facebook, are you out there doing TikTok dancing, or is Instagram just your? I would say my top three is Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Mm-hmm. Those are definitely my top three. I love just building my audience there and continuing to put out content and grow that audience. They all have different strategies and different methodologies, if you will. So, Instagram has their own way. People like something short and sweet and to the point, or an image with big words that they can just see when they scroll. It's faster.
Whereas on Facebook, you can maybe type something out, and then YouTube is just mainly video content, obviously. And then I would say my second tier would probably be LinkedIn and Twitter. LinkedIn and Twitter. I think Twitter's kind of falling off, but I still stay involved. Twitter and LinkedIn are good. TikTok, not really.
Not there yet.
Doing that, I mean, it's cool. I mean, I see people putting out their dance videos, but to me, it just seems that's all there is. I don't see much beyond that. So I haven't really gotten into TikTok. But I will say that Clubhouse has been like taking off. It's been like crazy how fast Clubhouse has been growing. So I'm just now getting involved in that, getting into it a little bit. But I mean, it's just, the biggest thing I would say, you just have to be able to adapt to change, adapt to what's happening. The algorithms are constantly changing. So, people have to be, thinking about what's coming next.
Yeah. So this, since you're so heavy on social, this conversation with a lot of agents, just, it gets their heads spinning because it takes work. It takes effort. It takes thought. It's not just posting happy Groundhog Day. There's a little bit more to it. I mean, 10 years ago, that would get you 500 likes. Now it gets you nothing. So how are you leveraging social media to build both brand and sales?
And that's a great point. I have a videographer that I work with, but it's a lot of work. You have to make the commitment. You have to post daily. And you need to post your own authentic content. So you're absolutely right. 10 years ago, you could, contract it out. There were companies that will auto post for you. And it was just like, oh, well, as long as, someone's posting for me consistently, the algorithm is going to pick me up. Now the algorithms know when a bot is just posting for you. And that actually hurts your algorithm, hurts your your content. So that's such a dated strategy. And where a lot of agents fail, or the ones who want to maybe use social media, is when they say, okay, I'm too busy, I'm just gonna hire this company that's gonna post constantly for me, and then I'll just chime in here and there, or I'll type something up, I'll post a photo, and that's it. That's not, the thing is, people got to understand social media is meant to engage. You got to engage. You got to be engaged and engage. And you got to, you're building an audience. You want the audience, you want to feel that audience, and vice versa. You want to build relationships with that audience. So it is time consuming.
It's like going,
but the rewards are great.
Yeah. It's like outsourcing. And there are things you can outsource that aren't, that are okay. I mean, I'm not good at video editing, so I have someone do that for me.
Oh, of course.
But the actual engagement and the content strategy, I take care of 100% up front. So it's like you think about outsourcing that. Essentially, what you're doing is saying, "Hey, there's a huge party in town. Would you like to go for me and just tell me how it is? If you connect with anyone, let me know, and then I'll show up and I'll talk to that person."
Exactly.
It doesn't really work that way.
Exactly. So and that's the other thing too. If you do that, you're missing an opportunity to build an audience that is going to connect with the authentic you. If you follow my pages, like when you see me go live or I do my videos, that I'm being myself. I'm being who I am. I'm talking about things I enjoy. I'm hanging out at this restaurant or this bar, or I'm lifting weights, or I'm doing XYZ. And so, you follow my page, you get to know me, because it's like, oh, well, Morad likes to do this, that, and the other, and that's the thing that people miss if they're not going live, or if they're not connecting with their audience with the authentic you. I think that's the struggle that a lot of people have, is just being authentic. They're so nervous. They don't know, oh, what am I going to do? Are people going to like me? The thing is, people are going to connect with other people they want to connect with.
Yeah. Be you, be real. It's okay if you're not 20 years in the industry and you know everything. Like, you can actually be the new agent, and there's a new agent. We'll probably have him on at some point. Or he's not new anymore, but he was newer, and I saw him just out there, content. He was just journaling his journey. And like, he didn't have to be like Gary Keller or some like huge icon that everyone knows.
Yeah.
He just had to be him. Like, boom, hey, we're going to look at this house with some buyers and let's take a look. Like, and just journaling all that. And it's been effective, and his business has exploded since then.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
So before we close out, what engaging online, so what are ways that you're doing, what are things you're doing specifically to connect in a digital environment with your audience that I'm trying to think of how, essentially, how would you connect in a way that doesn't necessarily have to look salesy, in a way that's genuine and that doesn't look salesy and doesn't look, that's leading with value?
Oh, absolutely. And the main thing with me, so I go live on my pages all the time.
I see it.
And yeah, absolutely. Appreciate it. And when I go live, I talk about what I like to talk about, which, one of the things I enjoy talking about is health, wealth, and success. Health, wealth, and success. So I talk about what I'm doing, what has been working for me. And, the struggle is real. I started from nothing. Nobody handed me anything. So, you can be successful if you put your mind to it and you put your grind to it. I mean, you got to get up and hustle. So, I like to talk about things like that. I like to talk about life and just positivity and success. And that's just me speaking from the heart, and anybody who follows me, they follow my page and they feel that authenticity. And I think that's what makes it exciting. And that's how I connect with my audience and build relationships. And so, I'm a true believer in, I don't have to be salesy because, people that connect with me, people want to work with people they know, like, and trust, or people they connect with, right? So, if I connect and I'm out there being myself and I'm building relationships, everything else is going to fall into place.
I love it. I love it. Well, you never know what those connections will and that exposure, it can just lead to all kinds of opportunities. I'm not like Jimmy Kimmel or anything, but it led to this.
Yeah, no, everybody's got their own style, so you're doing great. Y'all doing great. Y'all cute.
I appreciate. I really am. I mean, sincere. I've been watching what you're doing. I love the personality and also the creative flair that you've put in your content. And I look forward to continuing.
Oh, man, thank you. That means a lot. I appreciate that. Really.
Look forward to hanging out again. Maybe at Willie G's.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, let me know.
All right. Take care.
We'll see you.
See ya. All right. First one.
Yeah, it's gonna get better with time to hit it under 60 minutes. I mean, whenever you have all of this value to give with among 5 different speakers, I mean, it's hard to condense it, in 1 hour. So
yeah, I mean, any one of those guests, we could have gone on a much deeper dive on the strategies and just their unique niche. So definitely appreciate them taking time out of their day. Like Kat was actually showing houses and took a little break to be with us. And I know the other ones, they're very busy. So it's been fun. One extra thing for our last guest that Morad was talking about, just being you and being real. A lot of people think that they have to go out and they have to be Morad, like they have to be me, or they have to be you, or they have to be someone else that they see, and they don't. Like, if you're not a video person, like, just don't be on video. Write blogs, like, or comment. Just comment on Facebook. You don't even have to write stuff. You can just go in these Facebook groups or other YouTube videos or blogs or whatever, and then just give your 2 cents on LinkedIn, and you could do that 100 times a day. Maybe that takes less time than it would for you to make a 2-minute video. For some people, that's true. I like video because writing just takes me a long time. But just be you.
Yeah. So, social media networkers. If you like to network on social media. I mean, I do that all the time. I find so many buyers for our properties. So, I mean, it's a great avenue. So, and then one other takeaway I had from him is just to be able to adapt to change, and we know that really well because like our middle name is adapt and overcome, and that's what you guys
always moving.
you always just got to move with the industry. If wherever that goes, it's got to learn it, do it, get out there. So
couple housekeeping things, then we're going to sign off. If you want to just get value content in your email every single week, been sending out on Thursdays. You can go to investedagents.com. Up there at the top, actually get you a free copy of one of our business partners' books on raising private money. For those of you who are investor minded, that'll be huge. That's just a huge resource alone. But other than that, it'll get you on our newsletter. We send out a lot of content every single week. It's all free. We have events like this and other events. We will be back here next the first Tuesday of the month, which I'm not on stage, so I can actually look at my calendar.
I know. I was just looking at my phone. What is that? March 2nd.
Central. March 2nd. And if you got any value out of this, whether it was one thing, you love the whole thing, you love my hair, leave us a review. Go on our Facebook page, like us, follow us. We got a YouTube channel. It's also Invested Agents. Subscribe. Just putting tons of content.
Like Instagram. Yep, that'd be awesome.
Any last thoughts?
Yeah, that's a wrap.
All right. Thank y'all. We'll see y'all again next month.